Hi, again, this is another video. Today is November 11th, 2025. 11/11/2025. Very significant when we see these magical angel numbers. As I started out years ago, I want to say about 2 years ago, from isolation in 2020. I was in isolation, everybody was. 2021 came out a little bit, and it was still kind of like not free everywhere because it had COVID still prevalently preventing us from living life the way we lived prior to COVID. So, therefore, we were pretty much everybody in isolation. But from 2020 to 2025, some of us stayed in isolation as the world slowly crept up to become more, back to normal, so to speak, from a major event that affected everybody. I mean, that was like the turning point of a new beginning, ushering in to have Earth ascend. And ascension again is when you ascend in character, mentality, and character to be more upstanding, to be heaven ready. So, therefore, the chosen ones that predecessed you or went through that hell to emerge renewed would be someone like me. So, God wants me to tell you all, although I share my story of what I went through, that sounds rather brutal. Carl Jung, a psychiatrist or psychologist, he's a psychologist, he's a talk therapist, he studied the psyche, can give you on YouTube the best synopsis of integration of shadow, of your darkness, or your ugly parts of you that everybody is ashamed of, that at the forefront we neglect our deeper essence of our souls, the dumping ground of what we hide, right? About the worst parts of ourselves. And God wants me not to, he's telling me not to rush the video, to make it a 3-minute video, to make it a little bit longer so I don't have to feel rushed. And I agree that we have such a mental judgment about what's not normal. The movie with Night Shyamalan called The Sixth Sense. Stephen King, the movie called The Stand. Night Shyamalan's The Happening. These movies, right, Bird Box, are talking about a catastrophe. Everything that God does with us involves, unbeknown to us, God that utilizes us unconsciously to still send messages, hence the devil hiding in plain sight, so to speak, to kind of touch on it a little bit. Because we are so fixed in being familiarized, of course, with the repetition of life being what it is, anything foreign to get us out of our comfort zones puts us off. Now, if it's for a good purpose, you can understand that, of course. If it's to my benefit and I'm going to capitalize on it and it's going to help me as a person, period, why not? My point is, if I pour into, unashamed, my life as I'm not crazy, right? So it's not only me. There are stories, and Carl Jung, the psychologist, blessed soul. I'm so grateful for God having him as a reference point that spent time studying the mentals, the psyche of how the mind operates, and patients that were going through a process of transformation that are chosen by the universe, chosen by God, the great mind. The darkness, when you close your eyes consciously, that's what you see. That's consciousness. That's God. Darkness. His beingness of formlessness is awareness, consciousness of mind, of me, that he shares with us. Now, all has to be made of me, the creator, the universe, consciously showing intelligence as I teach outside, that spending time with God has enlightened me to fill in so many gaps in information that we all questioned or wondered about. Therefore, right, I am asking the public, when you watch my videos and I pour what brutally happens in transformation, as I went through that unknowingly, that God confronted me. I went through it not only for God and me, because God doesn't need me, but He did it because I'm His child. And I've done it now in realization, not only for me, but as a blessing that I became for God and for me, for all of you. So I'm asking, from the kindness of my heart, please don't judge me. I've suffered a lot. And I suffered to guide you through the integration of your darkness for healing, for upliftment, for letting bygones be bygones in forgiveness, for compassion, for becoming renewed, in giving you enlightenment that's well overdue, that whatever I've gone through, as explained to me by the Creator, are things I would never do to myself. I'm not crazy. I'm not, lashing out at me. I don't have a masochistic mentality. I've never had a criminal record of committing crimes, being a sociopath that has some sort of criminal background I'm trying to hide, of, trying to hurt people, or, just this nutcase that just wants to cause pain and suffering. No. I don't have that mentality. I don't even have that energy in my persona. All I consistently, represent me with doing is teaching about love. My mother was the sweetest and still is, in a nursing home, a facility for the elderly that can't care for themselves. Unfortunately, that's what happens in life. And she was the most beautifulest, loving soul any gift of a mother could be for a child like me. I was raised with a lot of love. And so I don't want anyone to think that I'm just trying to be famous. I told God in confidence, in isolation, I do not want to be famous. If I'm famous to you, that should be good enough. Everybody, they don't know who God is. And if you presented yourself to me in a divine way, that as great as you are, that everybody knows you're great, then that's it for me. That's good enough for me. I don't need to be famous. And I don't want to be judged as being this nutcase that I share and pour about what happened to me in isolation, that I'm labeled because God doesn't talk to everybody as a nutcase. I'm not crazy. And even though I had depression, I sought help. I sought help in the psych wards because there was no one to give me enlightenment. So I did the best I could do with the resources that were available to help me cope with life. Just like drinking alcohol or smoking weed or partying, sometimes life can be so hard. We start adapting these habitual vices that really aren't the best in choices. When in talk therapy, when you go for psychological help with a psychologist, they tell you to alchemize your feelings, go for a walk, do something positive, take a bath, journal, listen to music, watch children, watch a movie, do something positive for you, pamper yourself, get your nails done, get your hair done if you could afford it, and go on a date, and some people use sex, not me. Certain things I just can't do, but, to each his own. But I'm here to encourage everybody that God has saved me, changed my life. I am a brick house, a brick wall. If I speak crassly, it's because I have adapted a type of mentality to not allow, as being so sweet as God taught me. You're so sweet, you give me a toothache. And I was very much, in all due honesty, a pushover, very much prey to a predator that wanted to misuse, abuse me, and take advantage of me in wrong ways. So so now that can't happen. And I would never ever want to go back to the old me, no matter how sweet that was. And it's appealing to everybody. I'm still sweet, but with a lot more fire and sass. And if you can respect that God has done that to me and done that for me, with me, and has done that for all the chosen ones, and is extending that thick skin that I didn't have before to everybody, well, I implore you to listen to God inside of you the way I obediently have, to go through that fire of transformation to emerge a renewed person. I love you all. Thank you for listening. God, I know for a fact, loves you all just like he loves me. And I love you as well. Have a blessed evening.